How's it going, folks? My name is Candra Septiawan Nugroho, and here I am again in my YouTube platform doing my task. And this time I will be doing my poetry task. And you know, this time I want to do it on my own because I have my teammates with me. I think I'm going to addressing my teammates first. The first one is Maghriba Salma, and the second one will be myself, Candra Septiawan Nugroho. The third one will be Irsan Fajri, and the fourth one will be Nugrahaning Widiasti, and the last one is Muhammad Chairudin. And I'll be addressing their name later in the videos. And today the poetry task is about identifying elements in the poetry, and my group which is the fifth group our task is to find a certain element in the poetry called with the man killed by Thomas Hardy. And let's just not waste any time, let's just do it. But before I'm going to show or going to tell the, let's say, the elements about it, let me tell you the task, our individual task about the videos. Okay, so the first one is going to be me, Chandra, to tell the sound devices element from the poetry, and then the second one will be Salma telling the form element. The third one will be Irsan with imagery element. The fourth one will be Asti with mood or tone, and the last one will be Rudy with theme. Okay, so let's just jump into the videos. Okay, so first thing first, The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy, a beautiful poetry. It's about a war thought. I don't know. It's about a war that is happened already, and then this guy, which is Thomas Hardy, writes, he goes into the bar and then he saw someone that perhaps wanted to drink, but somehow he realized that the other man is his enemy in war. So let's say that he doesn't have any other things to do, or perhaps his instinct kicked him up, so he picked up his gun and killed the man. And there goes the poetry. Okay, so I'm going to tell the element of the sound device, which is the first one, is the sound device. So the poetry about The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy also used the sound device or sound element for his poetry. And the first thing that we want to tell is about the rhythm. So the rhythm in the poetry is quite a bit difficult to learn because the pattern is quite different for each stanza, but mostly the first 2 or 3 stanza use 6 syllables. Only about, I don't know, perhaps 1 or 2 in each stanza, only 1 or 2 in each stanza that use 7 or more, but most of them use 6 syllables. And the rhyme is ended with the AB sequences, such as the last one in Met and Wet and in Nipperkin. Yeah, like that. And then the alliteration, or let's say the repetition in the first word, he didn't use that much of an alliteration because I only see a few words that use this alliteration, such as the letter H in the first stanza and the first word in the first stanza, which is had he and I but met. So the letter H in had and he is continuous, so it's counted as a alliteration. And the fourth one will be assonance in the poetry. It is much more than the alliteration because it is the use of the vowel, and Thomas Hardy use it more than the alliteration, such as the vowel of A and E. From the first sentence again, from the first stanza, which is had he and I but met. Had and but is the same, and he and met is the same. So it's AE and AE, like that. And the second example is that the vowel of O, double O, but we read it as O, in the sentence you should follow down. And yeah, that's how it's worked, the assonance. So it's quite richer than the alliteration, perhaps. I don't know what's the correct word for it. The consonants. Now it's the consonants. The word is also quite a lot, such as the word H. The sentence, I shot him as he at me. I shot as H. That's the first point. And then I shot at him, H again, the second point. And the third one will be I shot at him as he at me, and the H is the third point. So there's a 3 consonants in that sentence. And the second one, another H, is in the sentence which is he thought, he at least, perhaps, which is he, H, first point, thought, and then there's TH, second point, OU, GH again, third point, and hit, he, do, which is the fourth point, H, and the last one is perhaps, the fourth point is in H. So that is the consonants in the poetry. In the onomatopoeia, or which is the word that represents sounds such as boom, zip, things like that. Thomas Hardy didn't use any word to represent any sound, so it just goes like shot, like that. Nothing's more. And then the last one is the repetition to gain some certain effect. So he used quite a lot for this repetition, because in the third stanza, it is how to say it? You really feel it, because you use the word in the sentence. You use the word because twice, and in the whole stanza he just repeat it a lot of times, and it quite gives the effect that he wants, such as I shot him dead because, and then there's a pause and because again. So I shot him dead because he was my foe. Just so, my foe, of course he was. So it's quite, let's say, it's quite strong for the repetition element in here. So I think that's all for my time in the sound device element, and I'm going to give it back to Salma for the form element. Thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you again.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So let me introduce myself. My name is Maghriba Salma. My student number is 167, and I would like to tell my form structure from the poem that is The Man He Killed. And the poem is talk about murder and war, and it can be seen through the title. And the first stanza is we can assume that how the speaker and the man were met in some place. It can be proved by in some Asian inn, and then they were sitting down to the place to wet their body by drinking some beer, because there were so many nipperkin around there, and nipperkin is small quantity of beer wine, or etc. And then the second stanza is focusing on how the speaker killed the man, and it can be hypothesized that the man and the speaker were an infantry, and the tragedy happened whilst them seeing each other, and by a chance the speaker uh, killed the man at the first stairs by shooting him by from his voice by shooting him from his voice. And then continue to the third stanza. It tells the reason why the speakers killed the man, but at the first line the speaker confused and he was stopped to give the reason why he killed the man. And then continue to the second line. Suddenly he gave a reason because the man was his fault, and he doesn't give a valid reason why the man was his fault. And then continue to the fourth stanza. The speaker confirms that he was right when he shooting the man. The speaker thinks the man as himself, and he wasn't fighting for the desire to kill someone. And now that he killed someone, he killed the man, and he couldn't explain why he did it. And the last stanza is about the conclusion. The poem said that the war is curious and we should kill our enemies in the battlefield, even it was our best friend when we give treat on the someplace. I think that's all. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello there, my name is Irsan Fajri, and now I will explain about the imagery of a poetry titled The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy. The poetry itself uses words that mostly appeals the reader's sense of sight and or maybe also sense of feeling. I don't really sure about that. For the example, from the sense of sight, it can be seen from the first stanza, which it says, "Had he and I but met in some ancient inn." As we can see from that first stanza, the writer or the author of the poetry appeals the reader to imagine that there are two men meet inside an inn. And then for the sense of feeling, it's not really explained, but it can be understand by the end of the few last stanza. It feels like the characters or the main characters of the poetry somehow feel regret to kill that person, feel it's just he killed someone who is also a human just because of war that he doesn't have any choice, as it seems. And I think that's the imagery of the poetry titled The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy. Thank you very much and see you.
My name is Nugrahaning Widiasti, name 170. I want to talk about the mood or tone in the poem of The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy. Mood or tone is the feelings the authors were choices give the poem. The mood or tone in the poem The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy is regret. This is shown in the last stanza, which is on the fourth line, which reads, you treat if met where any bar is." Um, which means even though if we meet at the bar, we certainly do different things. Different things here mean having fun, not in war. This regret because he had to shoot someone in a war that was considered his enemy, even though in normal life or when they weren't at war, they were good friends, relatives, and could have fun together.
So my name is Muhammad Chairudin, and today I will talk about the theme of The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy. The major themes in The Man He Killed is the effect of war is the major theme of this poem. The poem is about a soldier killing another man because they are fighting on opposite fronts in the war. Ironically, the speaker fails to justify his action. He simply states that the deceased was his foe. Later, he is haunted by the thought of killing the innocent man who came to war just to serve his nation. He simply cursed the fight, knowing that it makes people insane to the extent that they easily kill others. Other than that, the man he killed as representative of hatred. This poem is about the duties of war imposed upon soldiers. The poem starts with a confession. The speaker said that if that man met him in an inn, they would have had a great time together. They could have a drink, however, both were soldiers. They stared at each other and shot each other. Luckily, the speaker survived, but the man died. After killing the man, the speaker attempts to justify his action, saying that the person was his foe, soldier from the enemy line. Then he contemplates the mocking nature of war, saying that he did not join the war to kill someone. Now he has shot a man. He struggles to find words to justify his action. To him, war is appealing. He also feels curious because as a soldier you might kill a man, but be friendly at the bar. However, war even makes people inhuman after killing others. I think that's all for the theme from The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy. Thank you.